What if the silence you've been taught to fear is actually your greatest source of power? Have you ever been the one sitting alone in a crowded cafeteria, or the one who turns down the party invite for a quiet night with a book? Have you felt the weight of those glances, the pity, the confusion, the unspoken question? What's wrong with them? We are handed a script from childhood. Happiness is noisy, validation is collective, and your worth is measured by the crowd you command. To be alone is to be failing. To prefer your own company is a red flag. But what if everything you've been told is backwards? What if the people who walk alone aren't lost? They're the only ones who found the map. Let's dismantle the myth, piece by piece. The loner isn't a defective product of society. They are its most discerning critic. They aren't hiding from connection. They've simply graduated from the shallow end of the pool. And that distinction between being lonely and being selectively alone is what makes the comfortable world so deeply uneasy. To understand this, we must travel back to the origin point. No one is born a fortress. We are born open, trusting, with hands outstretched. The walls are built brick by brick, each one hardened by a lesson the world insisted on teaching. For some, the first brick is laid in a school hallway. You know the scene. You share a secret with a friend, a fragile dream whispered in confidence. You feel the bond strengthen. Then you walk into a room and your secret is the punchline of a joke. The laughter isn't just noise, it's the sound of a contract being broken. That friend traded your vulnerability for social capital, and you learn that trust can be a currency spent by others. For others, the bricks are laid at home. You become the family anchor, the reliable one, the problem solver. Your phone rings and it's always a crisis, money, comfort, a shoulder to cry on. You give and you give. But when your own storm hits, when you need a harbor, the line is dead. Your needs become an inconvenient background static to the drama of everyone else's lives. You learn that your role is to support, never to be supported. Then perhaps comes the relationship that was supposed to be different. You pour your entire heart into another person. You show up in their midnight hours. You champion their dreams. You see the gold in their soul even when they can't. And in return, they hand your devotion to someone who offered a fraction of the effort. The lesson here is the cruelest. Sometimes your deepest love is just someone else's convenient placeholder. These aren't isolated incidents. They are a curriculum, a relentless, repeating seminar on human nature. The student, the future loner, learns the core thesis. People will consume your kindness like a limitless resource. They will mistake your patience for permanence, your empathy for weakness, and they will vanish the moment you have nothing left to give. So what is the rational survival response to a hand that has been burned not once but repeatedly? You stop reaching for the flame. You don't become cruel, you become cautious. You don't hate people, you become a connoisseur of character. Society labels this cold, closed off. But that's a misdiagnosis. It's not coldness, it's consciousness. It's the awakeness that comes from finally understanding the rules of a game you never wanted to play. Here lies the fundamental divide, the Grand Canyon of human interaction. On one side, you have the majority, who operate from a primal fear of silence. They will swallow disrespect on a Monday, absorb manipulation on a Wednesday, and by Friday they're still texting for plans. Why? Because the terror of an empty chair, of a silent phone, is greater than the pain of a toxic presence. They believe any connection is better than none. On the other side stands the loner, holding a devastating piece of knowledge. A peaceful emptiness is infinitely superior to a crowded room full of knives. They have done the math. The cost of constant compromise, of walking on eggshells, of dimming your own light. It's a debt that bankrupts the soul. So their tolerance for nonsense drops to absolute zero. when they detect the faintest scent of inauthenticity. A lie wrapped in a smile, a hidden agenda masquerading as help, love that comes with conditions. They don't call a meeting. They don't draft a treaty. They simply disengage. They vanish from the narrative without a dramatic exit. To the outside world, it looks like a sudden disappearance. In reality, it's the quiet closing of a door that was never meant to stay open. And for this act of self-preservation, they are called harsh, unforgiving, impossible. But in the privacy of their own mind, they have a different word for it: integrity. Let's be brutally, unflinchingly honest. You do not arrive at a life of chosen solitude because you are unlikable. You arrive there because you have developed an allergy to mediocrity. You can no longer digest small talk that goes nowhere, friendships built on mutual complaining, or love that feels like a part-time job. And let's face the uncomfortable truth. The world is saturated with mediocre connections. Most interactions are transactions. Most friendships are built on convenience. Most love is conditional. The loner isn't rejecting people, they are rejecting a low-quality standard of living. This is where the loner's real power emerges, and it's what truly unsettles those around them. The repeated lessons of disappointment don't just create thick skin, they forge a lens of hyper-clarity. Their perception becomes a high-definition scanner, picking up frequencies most people are tuned out of. Consider the story of Leo. Leo starts a new job. A new team member arrives. Let's call him Alex. Alex is all charm. He remembers birthdays, offers to help with workloads, laughs at the boss's jokes. The office adores him. Everyone except Leo. Leo watches, silent. He sees how Alex's compliments are strategically aimed upward. He notes the help that's always given in front of a manager. He hears the subtle, demeaning jokes about a colleague disguised as just banter. 6 months later, when a project fails, Alex immediately produces a paper trail blaming a quiet coworker. The office is shocked. She seemed so nice. Leo feels no surprise. He wasn't judging the mask, he was observing the hands that held it. This isn't cynicism. It's pattern recognition honed by experience. Early betrayal is a brutal but precise teacher. It calibrates your internal alarm to a hair-trigger sensitivity. These individuals can feel the subtle tremor of an ulterior motive in a firm handshake. They can see the glint of insecurity beneath a boast, the shadow of jealousy behind a compliment. It's not a supernatural gift. It's memory. Their nervous system has become a library of human behavior, and they've read every volume. You cannot charm them because they see the effort behind the charm. You cannot manipulate them with guilt because they recognize the script. They have seen the play, and they have left the theater. This razor-sharp vision leads to the loner's most defining feature, boundaries that are not suggestions but laws. For the average person, a boundary is a polite line drawn in sand, easily washed away by a wave of emotion, a pleading "I need you," or the fear of conflict. For the person who has been drained to their core, a boundary is a cliff face of granite. It is non-negotiable. Take the story of Sam. For years, Sam was the emotional 911 for her friend. 2 a.m. calls about boyfriend drama, panicked texts about work stress. Sam would wake, console, and sacrifice her sleep, her peace, her energy. One night, exhausted, she let the phone ring. The texts exploded. "Where are you? This is an emergency. I can't believe you'd abandon me." Sam waited until morning and replied, "My capacity for emergencies is now between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. The backlash was volcanic. She was called selfish, a fair-weather friend. But Sam held firm. She had finally learned the equation that changes everything. Unlimited availability communicates zero value. When you are always on call, you become a utility, not a person. So the loner stops being nice. They start being architectural. They build structures for their life that prioritize their sanity. And people, accustomed to easy access, despise architecture. They hate a no that doesn't come with a 5-paragraph apology. They resent a delayed text reply. They mistake self-respect for hostility. But that firmness is the sound of a soul refusing to break anymore. This isn't about keeping everyone out. It's about installing a filter so fine that only the rarest elements get through. Genuine empathy, mutual respect, emotional accountability. The rest, the drama seekers, the energy vampires, the users, find themselves on the outside, noses pressed against the glass, wondering why the door is locked. The answer is simple. You brought a lit match into a library. The journey inward goes deeper still. When you are the child who had to parent yourself, the friend who was always the listener but never heard, you are forced to master the most sacred skill of all, self-containment. Imagine a boy named River. His parents' divorce was a war, and he was the forgotten battlefield. Meals were erratic, emotions were volatile, and his quiet suffering was background noise. So he learned. He learned to cook his own meals. He learned to sit with his own sadness, to debug his own problems, to celebrate his own small wins. By the time he reached adulthood, he didn't just enjoy his own company, he relied on it. His sense of self became his bedrock. This is the ultimate transformation, from seeking external saviors to becoming your own sanctuary. You learn to be your own best friend, your own wise counsel, your own rescue party. This foundation of self-reliance creates a calm that is unnerving to the chaotic world. When everyone else is panicking, why? You are steady. When plans collapse, you are your own plan B. And here we uncover the real unspoken reason people are wary of loners. It is not fear of violence or instability. It is fear of irrelevance. A person who is a complete self-sustaining circuit is functionally uncontrollable. If they do not need your validation, you cannot bribe them with praise. If they are not starving for attention, you cannot lure them with crumbs of affection. If they are not terrified of abandonment, you cannot hold the relationship hostage. For those who have navigated life using emotional leverage, guilt, neediness, charm, this person is a system error. They have no leverage. Their entire playbook is useless. Consider Maya's story. For 5 years, her relationship was a masterclass in conditional love. Her partner knew Maya's deepest fear, being alone, so they weaponized it. If you don't like how I act, you're free to leave. They would flirt with others, dismiss her concerns, forget important dates, each time punctuated with the implicit threat of withdrawal. And Maya, fearing the void, would shrink and apologize. This until one day, after a particularly cruel remark, her partner delivered the familiar ultimatum. Maybe this just isn't working. This time, Maya simply nodded and said, "You're right. It's not." She didn't cry, she didn't beg. She packed her bags. Her partner's confidence shattered into disbelief, then into frantic pleading. But Maya had already crossed the desert of that fear. She had sat in the heart of her own solitude and discovered it wasn't a monster. It was a vast, quiet strength. She had made peace with the empty room, so the threat of an empty room held no power. Is the loner's ultimate armor: you cannot control someone who is not afraid of losing you. Your silent treatment becomes their respite. Your threats of departure are met with a held-open door. Your attempts to incite jealousy bounce off a wall of serene indifference. They have found a center of gravity within themselves, and it cannot be shaken. Do not mistake this isolation for weakness. It is a garrison built by strength. They are not hiding from people. They are selectively curating a world that matches their frequency. They desire conversations that spark like live wires, not chatter that merely burns oxygen. They seek connections that feel like coming home, not performances that feel like work. Most social offerings are emotional fast food, colorful, convenient, and utterly devoid of real nourishment. The loner, having tasted the richness of a home-cooked meal for one, politely says, "No, thank you." This leads us to the loner's most prized possession, a peace so profound it feels like a secret. Imagine a man named Eli. His 20s were a subscription service to other people's chaos. His phone was a leash, constantly yanking him into dramas, emergencies, and obligations. His nervous system was a live wire, always braced for the next crisis. One day, he canceled the subscription. He turned off the notifications. He spent a weekend in utter silence, and in that silence, he found a stillness he didn't know existed. The constant buzz of anxiety faded. He could hear his own thoughts. He could feel his own heartbeat. Once you have tasted that stillness, once you know the bliss of a mind not cluttered with other people's noise, you will defend it with the ferocity of a lion, protecting her cub. So, if you bring chaos, inconsistency, or toxic energy into their orbit, you are not met with a fight. You are met with deletion. It is not an emotional reaction, it is an administrative one, like removing a virus from a hard drive. "But you didn't give me a chance to explain," is the common cry. The loner's silent response, "Your actions were your explanation. I believe people the first time they show me who they are." Your peace is not a negotiable treaty. It is a sovereign declaration. Their fortress was not built from a fear of the world, but from a profound respect for their own inner world. Let us state the full truth, plainly. The loners you are warned about are not dangerous. They are evolved. They are not broken. They are pioneers. They did not choose this path out of spite, but were refined in the fires of repeated disappointment. Their pain crystallized into non-negotiable standards. Their trauma was alchemized into a radar for authenticity. They have become beings who are immunized against manipulation, inoculated against coercion, and impervious to the cheap theater of social games. They are, in a word, free. And that is what is so threatening to the status quo. Real freedom is a quiet, radiating power that neutralizes every tool in the manipulator's toolbox. The guilt trips, they dissolve in the face of clear self-worth. The pity plays, the strings are visible, so the performance fails. The charming persona, they see the effort behind the curtain, and they refuse to applaud. When a person who has skated through life on charm, guilt, or neediness encounters a human who sees straight to their core machinery, it causes a system crash. Their entire operating system, built on implied obligations and emotional debt, has no code to process this encounter. So, they do what confused humans do. They label the unfamiliar as dangerous. "Beware of the loner," they whisper. The translation is, "Beware of the person you cannot use. Beware of the mirror that shows you your own reflection without flattery." If you are hearing this, if you have felt the relief of a quiet room over a noisy crowd, if you have chosen depth over width in your relationships, you already know this truth in your bones. You don't need it explained. You have been writing the manual with every no you said to protect your energy, with every tie you quietly severed. You do not need permission to guard your spirit. You are the curator of your own peace, the architect of your own solitude. And if the world chooses to misunderstand, to whisper warnings about the strength they cannot comprehend, let them. You will be elsewhere, in a place of your own creation, undisturbed. Because the final, most unshakable truth is this: the only relationship you are guaranteed for every single second of your life is the relationship you have with yourself. every other connection is a guest in that house. And becoming someone whose own company is not just tolerable but deeply cherished is not a consolation prize. It is the grand victory. It is the foundation upon which every other genuine connection can finally and safely be built. So, what did you find on the road less crowded? Was it silence, or was it a song you'd never been able to hear before? Drop a comment below. Let's talk.